Hello, it is December 17th, 2020, a Thursday. It's sunshiny out here in Lincoln, Nebraska, but it is just on a little bit of the side of cold. Not the worst it could be for sure. In fact, my oil didn't freeze this morning, so that's always good. But definitely chilly in the teens this morning when we woke up, and yay, winter. Gotta love it. But here's the gist of the whole matter is that there's still snow out there and it still looks so pretty. It hasn't gotten too, that brown, black, muddy kind of look to it yet, right? I imagine as it warms up, the ground will thaw a little bit, we'll mix up some dirt and some wet and it'll turn into that mud, and it's just so sad when snow just fades away, I don't know. Anyways, despite that, we've got a lot to cover today. So anyways, it's good to see you. I'm Pastor Dan Wing, pastor at Trinity Lutheran here in Lincoln, Nebraska. This is another episode of 9:59, 9 minutes and 59 seconds for you to listen, to see, to interact, if you will, and plus 1 second to the remainder of your day to proclaim what it is that you hear, the goodness of our God, the gracious and merciful God who serves us. Why would he do this? You know why. Because of his love for us. All right. I haven't had any riddles or anything like that, but I have been working on this project, at least in my mind. So I will give you the challenge. And I gave it to my oldest son, Matthew, and he was able to find some right off the bat, and that's good. But I'm gonna give the challenge to you. So I've been listening to Christmas music on a station out of Omaha in my car radio for the last 2 weeks or so. I think I've shared before, I just really enjoy Christmas music. I certainly love the religious aspect, the Christian aspect of Christmas, but I also enjoy the secular part too. So here's my challenge to you. If you listen to a lot of Christmas music too, I want you to try to see how many songs you can find that do not contain these three things: romance, references to weather, and references to animals. Okay? So references to weather, romance, or animals. So those it can't be in a Christmas song. Okay? So those three things, see how many songs you can come up with. I think that it definitely sways towards the religious Christmas songs, probably more so. Yet there are a precious few secular Christmas songs that don't contain any of those three things. Again, so you're looking for songs that Christmas songs that do not have references to romance, to weather, or to animals. All right, so see what you can do up here, right? Keeping the brain busy and active, and considering these things. Anyways, great Advent services last night. I even went so far as to mention Lent for some reason in one of my announcements at the first service last night and got mightily corrected for that. I had it coming, I think my mind was transferring to the fact that I need to find a Lenten theme now so that I'm ready for when Lent hits us. But let's finish off Advent and Christmas. So this Sunday is the fourth Sunday of Advent. We're going to take a break next Wednesday, so no Advent services next Wednesday. But then on the 24th, of course, we've got three services: 4:30, 7 o'clock, and 11 o'clock, all Christmas Eve services. And then Christmas Day, of course, at 9 o'clock. So I hope that you can find yourself at one of those. We will have probably just really one offering for a video, maybe two. I'll see what I can come up with, because we may not have one for that Sunday then of the Sunday after Christmas. So, all right. Well, let's get on. We're continuing our look at transitions. Remember, yesterday we had that conversation about God's promises versus God's judgments. God is the Lord is determining, should I let Abraham know or not what I'm about to do to Sodom and Gomorrah, to find out if it's as evil or wicked as has been reported to me. And so we pick it up here, Genesis chapter 18. It's a little bit longer of a section, so let me just go ahead and read these verses for us. So the men turned from there and went toward Sodom, but Abraham still stood before the Lord. Then Abraham drew near and said, "Will you indeed sweep away the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there are 50 righteous within the city. Will you then sweep away the place and not spare it for the 50 righteous who are in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to put the righteous to death with the wicked, so that the righteous fare as the wicked. Far be that from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do what is just? And the Lord said, If I find at Sodom 50 righteous in the city, I will spare the whole place for their sake. Abraham answered and said, Behold, I have undertaken to speak to the Lord, I who am but dust and ashes. Suppose 5 of the 50 righteous are lacking. Will you destroy the whole city for lack of 5? And he said, I will not destroy it if I find 45 there. Again he spoke to him and said, Suppose 40 are found there. He answered, For the sake of 40 I will not do it. Then he said, Oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Suppose 30 are found there. He answered, I will not do it if I find 30 there. He said, Behold, I have undertaken to speak to the Lord. Suppose 20 are found there. He answered, For the sake of 20 I will not destroy it. Then he said, Oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak again, but this once. Suppose 10 are found there. He answered, For the sake of 10 I will not destroy it. And the Lord went his way when he had finished speaking to Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place. Interesting interaction here between a man and the Lord. Not too far off from what I think we oftentimes do too. It's a certain type of bargaining that Abraham is doing here, and I think we do that with God at times in our lives too. We try to intercede on our behalf or on behalf of someone else as we speak to God and ask him to relent, to back off the punishment or the discipline that is being brought forward from our perspective, from our vantage point. Is there anything wrong with that? First off, let's ask that question. Is there anything wrong with asking God to not do maybe what is happening, right? Maybe cancer or loss of job or, any number of things like that. Absolutely not. There's nothing wrong. Our Heavenly Father welcomes us to call upon his name, to speak to him, to pray to him, to talk to him. He doesn't need us to talk to him like a little child. We talk to him as the full grown-up that God is, if we want to understand him that way. And so Abraham gets him all the way down to 10. I couldn't help but think of my grade school days of kids who just would not shut their mouths, and they would talk while the teacher was out, and the teacher would come back and say, that's it, no recess, and I would be upset and frustrated because I didn't do any talking, and yet I had to suffer the righteous one with all the wicked ones. That happened on more times than I can count. I don't know how many recesses I had to suffer with my head down on my desk because I did nothing wrong. I'm not trying to say I'm a great person. I'm just saying I was obedient and I still got struck down with the wicked. So I get Abraham's point here. He's trying to speak up for the righteous. He's trying to say, hey, will you relent just because of those few? He whittles it all the way down to 10. And we're going to find as we move on in this text that there's not even one who's really faithful, really righteous. And we'll find that out as we go through that text. So a transition here, attempted transition for God, but he's not biting. He is, but he also knows still the judgment that is to fall for Sodom and Gomorrah and those cities. So we should indeed, though, rejoice that our gracious God does have mercy and that he has relented from punishing us as our sin rightfully deserves. Instead, he heaps that upon the Christ child whose birth we soon celebrate, who suffers and dies on our behalf. Don't forget, +1 second to proclaim. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Monday.